All right, welcome. Where we at here? Oh, we set up. We're gonna do something a little bit different tonight. We're gonna jump into a big block race here with a league called the Tri-City Speed. Invited us to come in, do their big block race here at Lernerville tonight. So we're getting loaded in there right now. Gonna do a quick little practice session, qualifying heat races and a feature event. So just like your regular Saturday night show without the water and without the water truck. So we're gonna get jumped in there real quick. Looks like we're getting some guys loaded into the race. So this is a league that's been around for a little bit. Just our first time here. We'll take a look. We'll jump over here real quick. Jump over and take a look here at Lernerville Speedway. All right. Pull up their schedule here for last week. So it looks like they ran about 8 races in this season. Tonight is going to be week number 9 here at Lernerville. Looks like it's the last race of the season as well. Last week at Houston, it was Matthew Watts taking the win. We'll take a quick look at the point standings here real quick as they're getting ready to get lined up here for ready to get out on the racetrack here for some practice laps. About 10 minutes I think they run for practice. It looks like we've got about a dozen drivers here so far, so it should be a good field of cars here at Lernerville. Pull up the point standings here real quick. Brandon Barnhart out in front, 948 points ahead of Kenneth Bory. I think that's how he told me to pronounce the name. Sorry, Kenneth, if I got it wrong there, but back at 903. So it looks like Brandon's got the points locked up pretty well. According to Kenneth, he could catch him. Now, if Brendan has a really bad night, but this league does use one fast repair, so even with a little bit of trouble, Brandon should be able to recover. So we'll see how this goes. We got cars out on the track here real quick. We'll take a look at what's going on. So who we got on the racetrack right now? It looks like we got Ziggy. I'm not sure who Ziggy is. Byron Banks. Pull up some lap times here real quick. So Banks out there with a 14.95, so we'll see how that translates over into qualifying. Story out there in second right now. Caribbean, Justin Caribbean, it looks like. Also here in the lobby we got Kyron Roundtree, Ken Bory, Matthew Watts. Last week's winner at Houston. You have to get out on the racetrack here for any practice, but we'll get going here. Track looks really tacky right now. Really hooked up here for practice. Nice thing about our racing, if you've been with us covering some, hey Justin, good to see you there, buddy. If you've been around when we did World of Outlaw races here in the past on Xbox game and stuff, World of Outlaws really didn't have a lot of track progression, but here with our racing, you see a totally different story. You'll see this track develop out throughout the night, so you can see right now it looks like it's pretty wet, a little tacky. We'll see it dry off. You'll see lanes change. You'll see guys running the bottom, guys running the top. So right now it looks like Tyson Banks right now with fast time here in practice. We got 5 minutes left here in practice. Kyron Roundtree. Again, if I mispronounce anybody's names, I'm sorry, but Kyron Roundtree to the top here, to the top of the leaderboard here in practice with a 14.87. Tyson Banks, Ken Bory right there in the top 3 right now for practice lap times. Let's see, we've got 11 cars right now checked in here for practice. Let's see here. All right. New league here for us. Tri-City Speed. Their last week of this season, so we're just going to get in practice. We see a couple of the cars sitting out there on the racetrack getting ready to come out on the track. Looks like Tyson Banks now making his way back onto the racetrack. Ken Bory as well. Ken Bory out of Butler, I don't know the state. Tyson Banks out of Bedford, Indiana, right there in the 747. That's a really good. Is that Scooby-Doo I see on that car? We got a close-up view of this thing. I don't think I have a zoomed-in view on my cameras here, but good looking livery right there on the Tyson Banks car in the 747. That is Scooby-Doo. I get a little better look at it there. Chris Watkins out there in the 39 or the 19. Sorry about that. 19. Got that car hooked up off the corner. You see it packing that left front tire. Chris Watkins off the top of 3 right there in practice. Gets it turned around to get back on the racetrack. We got about 3 minutes left to go. Kyron Roundtree. That's one of the best liveries I've seen in a dirt modified in a long, long time. Look at the reflection. That's a nice chrome. Game does a really good job of giving that chrome illusion right there. You can see the reflections on the racetrack. It's a really good looking car there from Tyron Roundtree. 12 cars here now. We have Corey Beckhurst just showing up, yet to make a lap. About 3 minutes left here in practice. Brandon Barnhart, our points leader right now, to the top of the leaderboard, but only 8 thousandths of a second, 8 milliseconds, as the F1 guys like to say, ahead of Matthew Watts right now. So it looks like qualifying is going to be pretty tight. Here's a good look at Ken Borey in the 56, making some laps right now, getting out there, getting warmed up for practice. Tri-City sponsoring the car. Ken Borey, one of the leaders here at the Tri-City Speed League. They're getting ready to put together some more leagues here. We'll kind of bring that up here a little bit later. We got some time in between, so we'll get a little practice going. About 2 minutes left in practice. We'll get over to qualifying, and we'll jump over to some heat races, and they do a little warm session before the feature too. So another look here at Chris Watkins. Back here, first look at Justin Carabee in the 29 Tri-City Speed car. Right now sitting about 9th on the leaderboard here, 13.7. Let's see here. There we go. Get our lap times up on the board. Take it back a look at Cameron Roundtree getting ready to come out of the pits, make some more laps here, making some adjustments on the car. Really got that thing hooked up off the corner, getting a lot of bite. You can see how the track's kind of progressing a little bit. That top groove's really coming in up there as Kyron slides it off the top of turn 3. Another look here at Tyson Banks, still Brandon Barnhart, top of our leaderboard here in practice with a 14.82. We'll see how that translates over to qualifying. We get about 1 minute left here in practice right now. We'll get everybody a little screen time here. We're going to go by Troy here. So Troy here in the 21, out there making some laps. Right now 7th on the leaderboard at a 14.92. A little bit about 1.1 seconds off the top of the leaderboard, off of Barnhart right now. So 21, Troy right there running in 7th. We got still 12 cars here in this race right now. 12 cars in the lobby here in practice. Little trouble there from the 29 of Justin Carabee. Catches the wall down the front chute, takes it off the racetrack into turn number 1. I think it's just practice and do a nice quick reset here. Let's see, I think this is a good shot right here. Here we go. Just learned the cameras here at Lernerville. We were playing around with them last night, but you can see how the group's progressing right there. Little marbles there in the center of the racetrack. You can see 56 Ken Borey sliding up into the middle. That's a 7 of Kyle Ollis. Ollis on the outside. Good side-by-side battle here with Ollis and Borey. You see a couple different grooves working in. You can see Borey making a good run on the bottom. Right there in practice. So practice is going to be over, so we're going to get right into qualifying. Tri-City Speed, last race of the season here, week number 9. All right, about 2.5 minutes of qualifying. See if we can catch anybody out on the racetrack. All right, looks like Tyson Banks may be making his way out on the racetrack. Tyson Banks out of Bedford, Indiana, that 747 Scooby-Doo car. Running that top groove through 1 and 2. Let's see what he does get down there in turn number 3. He's also going to get up on that cushion through 3 and 4. Going to come around and start his first time lap. So Tyson Banks going to be the first one. Take the green flag here. 2 minutes left in qualifying. Short qualifying session. Going to get 2 laps here. Tyson Banks going to come around, take the white flag. They're going to put first lap on the board. Actually, Ordo is going to get a lap in. So Tyson Banks going to go to the leaderboard right now at 14.999. Ordo with a 15.043 right there in second. Berquist is going to come across the line at a 15.48. Make one more lap around. Here for Corey Berquist. And there goes Troy to the top of the leaderboard. Berquist crossing the line. Going to stay in 5th. Let's see if we can get on one of our faster guys. We'll get on our points leader with Brandon Barnhart. Troy right now on the pole with a 14.980. Ken Borey right now, number 2 at a 14.985. Here comes Brandon Barnhart coming across to take the green flag, make his first lap. Coming down the back straightaway, kind of running a little bit different on that slider line we saw last night. Down on the bottom of turn number 3. Going to slide up a little bit through 3 and 4, come off the top. Barnhart going to take P1 right there with a 14.955. 1 minute left here in qualifying. So Barnhart now to the top. Our points leader looking to start P1 in heat race number 1 here. Brandon Barnhart going to cross the line for his second lap. Doesn't really improve it. Sticks at a 14.955. Only 3 more cars out there to take a lap. Matthew Watts, Kyron Roundtree, and Kyle Ollis. Take a look here at Matthew right now, making his laps, going down the back straightaway, heading in turn number 3. 11 car way up on the cushion. We saw Barnhart down on the bottom. Watt's going to try something a little bit different up on the cushion, come across the line. Not a great first lap there at a 15.219. Let's see if he can make it better here on the second time around. Barnhart down into 3. He goes down to that bottom line. Let's see if he kind of slides up. He's going to run it right off the bottom, right there off the berm off of 4. He's going to come across the stripe. Going to improve his position up to 4th with a 14.998. Matthew Watts comes into 4th. That is going to end qualifying. Let's see if we can get qualifying up here on the board. Goes pretty quick on the dirt races, so sometimes we don't even get it time to post the results, but we'll get this up here real quick. All right, here we go. Get back to that real fast. All right, so your pole sitter, fast timer here tonight is going to be Brandon Barnhart. See, he goes away on us really fast here. Second's going to be Ziggy Troy. We're going to call him Ziggy, I guess. Ken Borey going to come in 3rd there in qualifying. Matthew Watts, Tyson Banks, Justin Kirby, Curran Roundtree, Brian Ordo, Tyler Hampton, Kyle Ollis, Corey Beckwith, and Chris Watkins is going to round out the field. For qualifying, we're going to get on to our first heat race. It looks like we're going to have Brandon Barnhart on the pole for the heat race. So for heat race number 1 here at Lernerville for Tri-City Speed, it's going to be Brandon Barnhart on the pole, Ken Borey on the outside. That's our number 1 and 2 in points right there. Side by side here in heat race number 1. In third row is going to be, second row is going to be Tyson Banks starting 3rd. Kyron Roundtree outside of him starting in 4th. Tyler Hampton going to be starting 5th, and Corey Berquist in the 6th position here in this first heat race as we roll out. I don't like the way that does that. Let's see what we do with the other tower here real quick. Just shaking some things out here. All right, Brandon Barnhart on the pole here for heat race number 1. In the 101 to 56, Ken Borey up on the outside. Going Roundtree starting in that 4th position. Tyson Banks down the inside, so we're going to go green here next time by. Pace car is pulled in. 8-lap heat race here. Heat race number 1. Brandon Barnhart looked really good on the bottom of qualifying. Let's see if he stays down there in his heat race. Looks like we're going to go around one more time. Guess I should put my headphones on and maybe I can listen to some driver talk here. Brandon Barnhart, Ken Borey on the front row. Tyson Banks, Kyron Roundtree in the 2nd row. Back there starting in the 3rd row. In 5th and 6th is Tyler Hampton and Corey Berquist. They strike off a good start there for Brandon Berquist. Barnhart, big jump on Ken Borey right there. So Barnhart going to lead down into 1, down on the bottom. Back here we got a battle here for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 747 Tyson Banks there. Hold on to that 3rd spot, but Tyler Hampton takes a look to the inside. Trying to take that 3rd spot away. Not going to be able to do it. Ken Borey's actually reeled in Brandon Barnhart a little bit. As we have Banks and Hampton side by side here for this 3rd position. You can see both crews working pretty well. Hampton dives into the bottom. Can't quite slide up in front of Banks right there. He's going to have to settle for that 4th position. We get up to the front. Brandon Barnhart still out in front, but Ken Borey doing a really good job. Going to take a look to the inside. Can he slide up? Barnhart way up on the cushion. Borey down on the bottom. They're side by side off of 4. 5 laps left to go in this heat race. Barnhart still out in front. Ken Borey 2nd. Tyson Banks and Tyler Hampton, your top 4. We'll take a look here back to the back. It's still Banks and Hampton side by side. Hampton looks to the inside. He's going to try to slide up. Can't quite make it on Banks right there. Still fighting out for that 3rd position. Tyler Hampton still, he's got to run off a 2. He's got that 3rd position right now, but can he clear Banks, get into 3 and 4? He slides in on the bottom. Gonna hold that middle line right there. Gonna give Banks a run on the outside. Banks come back on top. So we got 3 laps left to go. It's Brandon Barnhart, Ken Borey, Tyler Hampton, and Tyson Banks. Your top 4 with Kyron Roundtree back there in 5th. And it looks like Corey Burnquist is gonna retire out of this series. He's gonna finish in 6th. We get up here to the point. Ken Borey now closing up that gap there on Brandon Barnhart. We got 2 laps left to go. Take a look down the back straightaway. Ken Borey now trying to close up that gap, or fight still for 2nd and 3rd, or 3rd and 4th, sorry. And it's going to be Barnhart still with the point as they head into 1 and 2 off to the white flag. Tyler Hampton and Tyson Banks still fighting out for that 3rd and 4th position. Hampton's done a good job of locking it down, so we're going to look up here. And it's going to be Brandon Barnhart taking the win here in heat race number 1. Ken Borey going to be in 2nd. Tyler Hampton with a good run side by side there, where Tyson Banks is going to take that 3rd spot. Tyson Banks going to go to 4th. Doesn't really give me a chance to even look at the results as we get the heat race lined up. Not much of a gap in between these races, so first time we've done a lot of dirt races over the years. First time we've got to do a dirt race here on iRacing, so welcome here with us. If you haven't, the paint should be refreshed there, buddy. Thanks for that, Justin. Let me see how they. Yeah, it looks like I got them all refreshed. Thanks for the tip there. Which one don't look like it's refreshed? I can manually do that if I need to. Heat race number 2 lining up. See if we can get the grid here for it. On the pole is going to be Ziggy Troy. Outside of him is going to be Matthew Watts. In that second row is going to be Justin Careby starting in 3rd. Brian Ordo in 4th. Kyle Ollis and Chris Watkins going to round out the field. There are 6 cars in this heat race. All right, so let's see here. Alright, Justin says that my paints aren't refreshed. Let me take a look here. Alright. Our pace, we're going to go around one more time here. We come off of turn number 4. We're going to go by Troy. I guess we'll go by Troy. Troy in the 21 there on the pole outside. Starting in 2nd here in heat race number 2. Matthew Watts, Justin Careby, Brian Ordo, Kyle Ollis. Chris Watkins going to round out the field here. We come off of turn number 4 to take the green flag here in heat race number 2, and it's going to be Troy with a good jump. And look at down on the bottom is going to be Justin Careby starting back there in that 3rd position with a great jump. He's going to take the point there coming across the line, but here comes Troy back on the bottom, side by side. Justin Careby up on the outside, Troy down on the bottom. Good run through 3 and 4 in that 21 car, and he's going to lead lap number 1. It's going to be Troy back to the point after starting on the pole. Justin Careby slides up a little bit of a mistake right there. He's going to slide up the racetrack. That's going to allow the 11 of Matthew Watts to get up alongside. We got 3 cars here all fighting for the top spot. Coming across the line, it's still going to be Troy up on the pole, but Matthew Watts going to big dive into turn number 1. Is going to slide up in front. 21, Troy's going to cross him back over, and it's going to be back to the point. It's going to be the 21 car of Troy off of turn number 4 as we're going to come across the straight. Why is that showing the, let's see here. All right, Matthew Watts out in front. Troy settled into 2nd. Justin Careby there in 3rd. Chris Watkins in 4th. They're all throw a blanket over the top 3 right now as Troy comes off the corner. Closes up on Watts down the back straight. We got 4 laps left to go. We're halfway through this 8-lap heat race. Careby looking back to the inside to try to get that 2nd spot back. Watts and Troy now. Watts doing a good job leading this race. He looked pretty hot in practice. So you can see the track kind of developing a little bit. That bottom groove looks like it's coming in, but Watts is going to slide up to the top in 3 and 4, get a good run off the corner. Really good racetrack here right now. You can see multiple grooves. That top, middle of the top line looks to be working a little bit better now for Matthew Watts as he gets a good run off the corner. 2 laps left to go. Coming around, take the white flag here. 1 more lap to go for Matthew Watts. 3 wide for second. Roy Watkins of Caribbean. It's going to be that 19 car. Chris Watkins sneaking up there into second. As they're going to come across the line, it's going to be Matthew Watts taking the win. Oh, and it looks like, who was that into the fence? Was that the 21 car? The 21 car is Ziggy in the fence off of turn number 4. We'll see if we can go back and take a look at that. And it looks like it doesn't give me the chance. It just goes away real quick. I need to figure out a way to save those, I guess. All right, so we're going to do a little warm-up here. We've got, let's see, looks like about a 10-minute warm-up before the feature. I don't know how I'm going to fill 10 minutes. We'll try to figure out a way. All right, so Justin's saying I needed to refresh my paints. I thought I had them pretty well refreshed here, so let's take a look at it. Let's see here. Should have all my software running here that should update all that stuff. We'll take a look. All right, we'll see if something changed here real quick. I don't see. Looks like everything stayed the same. So, all right. Well, thanks for the tip there, Justin. Welcome here, guys. We were bringing you the Tri-City Speed Racing, Tri-City Speed League last night of this season for the big block modifieds here at Lernerville. Gave us a chance to get in and cover this race. Okay, there we go. Looks like now we got some liveries painted up here. So there we go. We got them refreshed now. Thanks for that tip there, Justin. Thought we had it all good to go. Really good. I spent some time really getting these cars painted up in this league. I've seen some really good stuff. I've jumped around in a few other leagues here and there, but these guys have taken it to another level. I got about 8 minutes here, a little warm up, then we'll get on to the feature. I don't know how many laps the feature was tonight, but this is the last race of the season. Points leader. Take another quick look at the point standings here real fast as they're warming up right now. Brandon Barnhart out in front at 948 points. Kenneth Borey there, 903. They finished 1 and 2 in that first heat race, so that I'm assuming that's going to put Brandon Barnhart on the pole, and Kenneth Borey right there behind him inside of row number 2 if they start heads up. So Barnhart's going to have a really bad night here for Borey to take this points championship away. So these guys are also advertising, so they're going to do but they got another league, another money league they're going to start up. Hot Shots of Dirt's going to start up. Let me see here. I don't see a date on my poster, but I think they told me it was going to be somewhere around the 21st. Actually, they got to sign it. You need to be signed up by the 13th. So if you want to get into this league, Hot Shots of Dirt, Big Buck Racing, 50 lap races. They're going to run $25 entry fee into the season. Discord link's right there on the bottom. If you got a pencil, write it down. So Hot Shots of Dirt. So same guys here running this league. They're going to run this new league, Hot Shots of Dirt, Sunday nights. Starting up in just a few weeks. So if you're looking to get into some big block racing, it looks like so far what I've seen from these guys, they look like they run pretty clean. I've seen a few mistakes here, but nobody really running over each other. Nobody doing anything real aggressive. So first time I've had a chance to cover these guys. We'll get out there and practice. You can see they're doing a little warm-up here. We're at 10-minute warm-up Roundtree right now with fast times here in this warm-up. Tyron Roundtree with a 15.17. So you can see the track kind of developing a little bit. You see everybody kind of down on the bottom right now. In the heat race, we saw top and bottom. And we're seeing that again here. We see some guys run the top. But, I mean, visually, it looks like this kind of drying out through the center. Take a look here from the drone at Ken Borey here. Going to head into turn number 3 here in warm-ups. We're going to run that slider line. You know, if any of you guys watched the Hillbilly 100 last night like I did, watch Ricky Thornton run that slider line all night long here at Lernerville. I don't know if it works here on iRacing, but it sure worked well last night. I know when we used to run this track on the World of Outlaws game on the Xbox, before we moved over here to iRacing, that slider line through 1 and 2 was where you had to be. 3 and 4 is a little more forgiving. You can run the bottom and run the top, but it's a nice thing about this track progresses like we said earlier, so you can see Ken up there on the top of the racetrack. Take a look and see where everybody else is running. See, then we look at Roundtree down on the bottom. I don't know if he meant to slide it or hit that berm down there, bottom of 4, kind of pushed up the racetrack. Way up on that cushion. It's a thin line here at Lernerville. When you come off a 2, there's not much of a cushion up or not much holding you. It's really easy to drive off the top of the racetrack. As you can see, Roundtree here, just pushing that limit up on the top. Just see, it's a nice little warm up to give you a chance to get out there and see right before the feature what the track's doing. And you can see him dive down the bottom of 3 and 4. Just kind of searching around to find out what this racetrack's going to be like for the feature. So see Matthew Watts is pulled in the pits. He's all warmed up and ready to go. Brandon Barnhart, it says 101. He's got 34 on the car. I'm just checking out some of the cameras we got. I've made some cameras for this race, and I haven't had a chance to use them yet. So, Tyler Hampton here in the number 14. Didn't get a chance to really see what the lineup was going to be before it switched over to warm-ups. I'm going to have to figure out a way to grab screenshots of that stuff as we're going to do more of this. So welcome. If you haven't been here with us, hey, I see Connor and see the follow a few minutes ago. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. And good luck out there in the feature. And it's Roundtree right now with fastest time here in warm-ups. Right up there on the top, you can see him running that top line in that number 2. Gonna dive down to the bottom of 3 and 4. Gonna slide it up. Gonna do that slider line coming off of 4. Let's see if that works out for these guys. Yeah, the heat race was so quick, I didn't get a chance to use all my cameras here. We'll jump in here with Brandon Barnhart. Just take a good look how he's getting down to what looks like from inside the car, inside of one of these big block modifieds. And again, you can see kind of sliding off a 4. You can see the tractor right now. You can, from inside the car, it's a little easier to see, but you can see some of that track starting to blacken up just a little bit, a little reflection, especially getting down there in 3 and 4. Looks like it's starting to dry out there a little bit in the middle, and you can see coming off a 4 right there, just a little bit of a reflection as you, in the lights. Just telling you that it's starting to dry out just a little bit. And off of 4, Barnhart's going to go here in a warm-up lap. So we've got, let's see what we got left. We got about 2 minutes left here in the warm-ups. Everybody getting called to staging. Looks like everybody's pretty much done warming up. We got Corey Berquist out there still making some laps. The last one is still on the racetrack. Down there in 11th right now. Only about, you look at these times here in this little warm-up session, they're only about a half a second separated from 1st to 12th. Could be a heck of a close finish. A heck of a good main event here. I remember how the laps were running. I think it's 30 or 40 laps, so we'll see here once it loads up. Well, my name is Chris Murphy at Dirt Racing. Let me see. Oh, it used to be Dirt. I almost said the old name. So, Dirt Racing Sports Network. We try to cover whatever we can. We're going tomorrow night. We're going to be doing some F1 races with some buddies doing the F1 25. We jump on and do some iRacing every once in a while, whenever we can. We also do some work with some other. Tuesday nights, I'm working with a company called Sim Racing Media, and we cover Western States Racing League truck races on Tuesday night. So, if you have a league out there, you're looking to get broadcast, check out Sim Racing Media. Throw together some really good 2-man teams. I like to jump on here every once in a while and just do the solo stuff by myself on my Twitch page here, which is fun. So thanks for being here. Appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet or you haven't hit the follow, just hit the follow button, but really appreciate it. Roundtree looks like he tightened that car up a little bit. Are they running fixed setups? And I'm not even. It looked like he tightened that car up, got into 3 down there, and the car kind of pushed up on him, and you kind of see how it finished up off of 4. We jump over to Caribbean. Caribbean tore it up in practice early. Now he's in the fence again here in the warm-up. So, unfortunately, I don't think I don't think any of this damage carries over, so. Like this camera right here, just kind of like you're sitting in the grandstands. This looks more like a regular float TV shot. Don't think I put a backstretch camera together though. All right, looks like we're about done here with this warm-up. About 2 seconds left to go, so we're going to get lined up here for the feature. Hopefully we'll have a chance to pull up the lineup for you once it gets going. All right, so we're getting ready to line up. Gonna be Brandon Barnhart on the pole. Let's see, can we get the grid up here for you? There we go. All right, on the pole is gonna be Brandon Barnhart. Outside of him, points to Brandon Barnhart looking to wrap up the championship here right here tonight on the pole. Matthew Watts outside of him starting in that second spot. Inside of row number 2 is going to be Ken Borey with Chris Watkins starting in 4th. In that 5th position will be Tyler Hampton with Justin Careby starting in 6th. In 7th, Tyson Banks with Troy up on the outside there in that 8th starting position. Back there in 9th, Kyron Roundtree, Kyle Ollis, okay. And Corey Berquist and Brian Ordo are going to round out the field of our 12-car field. It's going to be a 50-lap feature. All right, we'll bring the ticker up because the tower seems to show time for some reason. So I guess we're going to have to use a ticker here. All right. On the pole net 34, Brandon Barnhart. Up there on the outside, Matthew Watts. And at number 11, second row is going to be Ken Borey, your second in points. He is going to need a big finish here tonight, and Brandon Barnhart's going to have some trouble if he's going to have a chance to take the championship away. Come off of turn number 2. Pace truck still on the racetrack. It looks like it's going to pull off here this time by. We're going to go green flag. And Brandon Barnhart bringing him down the back straight with a nice slow pace here. As they head into turn number 3. He's going to pick up the pace quickly. And Brandon Barnhart's going to get a really good jump back 2 or 3 car lengths there. So they headed in on turn number 1. It's going to be Barnhart out in front. Borey looking on the inside of Matthew Watts, trying to get that second spot. Borey's going to take it away there as they head into turn number 3. He's going to try to slide up the racetrack. And he is going to take that second spot away from Matthew Watts as they head down into turn number 1. It's going to be Barnhart leading the first lap. Borey right there behind him. We got Matthew Watts, Justin Careby, and Tyler Hampton all fighting out for that third spot. Hampton taking the inside of Careby for that 4th position. Not just quite enough to slide up there in front of him. He's going to have to settle back into 5th. Careby back on the outside. They're side by side back there for 4th. Is Barnhart out in front by about a quarter of a second here right now. She slides off top of the racetrack. That's going to hand the lead over to Ken Borey.
The yellow flag is out.
Barnhart off the top. That's going to bring out our first caution of the night. Not sure what happened here. Let's see if we can go back and take a quick look at it. Looks like he just slid off the top of the racetrack. I'll get back and look at it one more time here. It's not really focusing in on me. Alright, so we're doing some work on this software here for dirt racing. It doesn't seem to like dirt racing. It works really good for NASCAR and other stuff though. So our early leader, our points leader, Brandon Barnhart, off the top of the racetrack there early on in this race. That's going to hand the lead over to Ken Borey. Just what Ken needed to have a chance at this championship. Ken Borey, now your leader. That leaderboard always does that to me here. All right, so we're under caution. Ken Borey, Matthew Watts, Tyler Hampton, they're going to come to the line. we're about 3 laps in, so about 47 left to go. One more time around. Pace truck still not pulling in. It's down the front straightaway, sir. One more time around. Yeah, our timing software doesn't like dirt racing because it's all set up for everything else that they don't count. That they count the yellow flag lap, so it kind of gets a little buggy. That's what you're seeing that leaderboard doing up there. All right, Ken Bory going to bring him to the stripe. Matthew Watts up on the outside.
Green flag, green flag.
Ken Bory with a good jump. Slides in front of Watts. We got, looks like that 29 of Kirby back in the fence again back there. He's had trouble hitting that wall all night long. He's going to drop back to about 6. Barnhart now already moved up 2 spots up to 10th. Well, look how his charge through the field goes. Started this restart back in. And it looks like we have Brian Ordo into the fence off of turn number 4, but no caution flag. We're still clean and green here. We'll go back and look at Barnhart now making his way through the field up there in 10th. We'll jump back up to the front now. Battle for the leaders here. Ken Bory and Matthew Watts now 1-2. Running a little bit different line. Bory running through the center. Watts up on the outside. Watts gets a good run off of turn number 2. Let's see if he dives down to the bottom. Not able to. And he's off the top of the racetrack. Matthew Watts off the top of the racetrack in 3 and 4 as well. I looked away for just a second. I don't know if there was any contact or not, but we're still clean and green.
Caution, yellow flag.
It's our second top 3 car. We're going to go caution flag now. So Watts. Let's see if we can go back and take a look at that one here real quick. Watts up on the outside of Ken Bory. He went down the back straightaway. And it looks like he just slipped off the top racetrack. Just got that right rear up over the edge. And here at Lernerville, it's really easy to do. Just going to carry you off the top there. And Matthew Watts off the racetrack, now running in second, fighting for the lead. Now back there in 12th, and we're still. Braun Otto down there in the pit, so our leader is still going to be Ken Bory. I think that's how he told me to pronounce it, so that's what I'm going with. Our Bory out in front. Tyler Hampton there now takes over that second position. We've had 2 of our top 3 drivers fall back there to the back. Brian Barnhart leading early, brought out our first caution flag, and it's going to be Matthew Watts bringing out caution flag number 2. Light's still on the pace track. Going to go around at least one more time. Week number 9 here in the Tri-City Speed Big Blocks. Here at Lernerville tonight, 12 drivers started. We saw all 12 out there on the racetrack, although we've had a few incidents. Brian Order off the racetrack. Justin Kirby caught the wall on the front straightaway after the last restart. And it looks like we may be going green here one more time as the pace truck lights are out. Let's see if it pulls off. Ken Bory looking to stay up here at the point. He hoped Brandon Barnhart keeps having trouble back there in the back as we're going to go green off of 4. Ken Bory gets a good jump down, crosses down across the bottom. Tyler Hampton's going to lose that second spot to Tyson Banks right there. They're side by side right now. Tyson Banks looking to the inside. Hampton comes back across on the outside. Gets a good run down on a 3 and 4. In the meantime, Ken Bory trying to get away from these guys. We're side by side here for second with Hampton and Banks. But Hampton gets a little bit, and we've got another car back there in the wall. It looks like it might have been Chris Watkins in that 44, catches the fence in the middle of the racetrack. Here we see Barnhart making his way back to the front up to 8th, but he's got his hands full right now here. Trying to get his way back through the pack. Barnhart up on the outside. We'll jump back to the front. It looks like we're side by side here for 4th and 5th now. Actually 3rd and 4th there with a 747. Tyson Banks and Troy. Ziggy Troy in that 21. They're side by side. Big dive to the inside from Tyson Banks. Let's see if he tries to slide up. He's going to cut up that slider a little bit. Just did not have enough room to get up in front of the 21. He's going to try it one more time off at 2. We're side by side for the lead here as well with Ken Bory and Tyler Hampton. Tyler Hampton looking to the bottom. Let me get my ticker up here so you can see how many laps are left. There we go. 12 laps down. 38 laps left to go. And it's Bory and Hampton side by side here coming off of 2 down the back straightaway on lap number 12. Going to come across the stripe to complete lap number 13. Bory out in front. For Hampton and Troy now, your top three. I'm still looking back there in the back. Barnhart's only made his way up to 8th right now. We got a good fight for the lead here. Hampton looking to slide up in front of Borey. Just not enough space. That top line is just too good right now. You can see that track really drying out through the middle of the racetrack. We'll jump here in the cockpit with Hampton and see what he's looking at. Good race going out in front. Hampton and Borey are fighting it out for the lead here. Lap 16 for the Tri-City Speed, and it looks like just not enough pace off the corner. That top is just too good off the corners. Hampton's just not able to get enough of a run.
Caution, yellow flag.
Hey, thanks, sir, Kent. Looks like we got another caution flag. I didn't see it. Was it Hampton? No, it wasn't Hampton. I can't see here because my thing's all glitching out on me. I looked up another screen real quick. Looked up at the chat. Hey, Kent. Who's that with a home field advantage? I'm guessing that must be Borey. All right, so we're going to be still up there in the top with Ken Borey and Tyler Hampton, 1 and 2. We are on lap number 16. 34 laps left to go right now. Brian Barnhart's now worked his way back up into the top 5 in that 34 car. I appreciate you being here. Digital Racing Sports Network just bringing you a few different races here wherever we can. Got the chance to come in here. Justin Kirby off the top of 1 and 2 down there. I'm not sure where he's going. Ken Borey still out in front of this. All right, got to get this shaked out of here so I can figure over here. All right, so I hope you guys were there. I see that, Ken. Hope you guys were there last night. That looked like a good race at the Hillbilly 100. All right, we'll get rid of that ticker because it's kind of tweaking out anyway. Looks like we may be going green here. All right, up there in the front's going to be Ken Borey. Tyler Hampton there on the outside. We're going to come off at turn number 4.
Green.
One more time, Ken Borey with a good jump again. It's going to be Tyler Hampton. This time it's going to be Tyson Banks down on the inside for that second spot. He's side by side. He tries to slide up in front, but again, you can see that middle top groove working just a little bit better. Look down there on the bottom. It looks like Barnhart's got that bottom groove working. He comes off the berm at turn number 4. He is just wheeling that car around the bottom. Can't get off a 2 very well, but it looks like it works really good in 3 and 4. Let's see what he does down here. Looks like the bottom's working really good off a 4. He's getting just a little bit of a bite, but just not enough to get up alongside of Tyson Banks here in that 747. Matter of fact, he's losing a little bit of ground, but he gets in the corner really well. Just can't get off the corner. There's just too much bite up on the top. We're side by side out in front right now. One more time. Lap number 20, 30 laps left to go. We're close to halfway. Ken Borey, Tyler Hampton, Tyson Banks, your top 3 right now. Hampton takes another look to the inside. Just can't quite get enough of a pace off the bottom. We've seen that all night long with just about everybody. Just not enough run. We got another caution flag coming out. Looks like it may have been Corey Berquist. Try to go back and watch these replays. Let's see if we can find this. It's Corey Berquist up on the outside there coming off a 2. And it looks like just going to slide out the back straightaway and lose it going into 3. Just catches that lip up on the top. We talked about that earlier, just how narrow that lip is up off the top of 2, and it doesn't take much. Does not take much to slide off the top of this racetrack. All right, so Ken Borey now. Like 20 laps of this race, 21 complete. Brandon Barnhart, well, it says that. Let me see, I got 21 laps complete. He's led 20, Barnhart's led 2. So all my scoring software doesn't know what to do with this dirt track racing sometimes when it's going back and forth. So Ken Borey still on front. Brandon Barnhart's trying to work his way back up here. All right, we're Gonna go green one more time. Let's see if this one works a little better here. All right, we're gonna go around one more time here.
Green, not
Our
going
fourth
green.
caution of the event. 20 laps into this race. Ken Boyd looking to try to move up, take over this points championship. He came in here in second, hoping Brandon Barnhart was going to have a bad night, and it's Brandon Barnhart fell back to the back early, all the way back to 12th after sliding off the top of the racetrack on lap number 2, but he's made his way back up into the top 5. Gonna start this restart. We're gonna go around one more time here. Still got the yellow flag out.
Hang on, we're not going green. Not
Tyson
going
Banks
green.
down in the pits. We had 12 cars start this. I started to say trucks. I've been covering truck races too much. Hey, thanks for the follow there, Kent. Appreciate it, buddy. I'll go back to this field. My timing is right now. Kent Borey. Tyler Hampton up on in that second spot, been fighting back and forth. Let's see if we're gonna go green here this time. One more time around. I'm guessing somebody needed a little break here. We're under extended caution here on the 4th caution. Looks like Tyson Banks gonna make his way back out of the pit, so they were waiting for him in the hot pit down there. Tyson Banks back onto the racetrack. All right, it looks like we may be going green this time by, so here we're going to go come off of turn number 4. It's going to be Ken Borey bringing him to the line. We're just going to stare at turn 4. Here they come. Ken Borey off of 4. Getting another good jump here on Tyler Hampton. They head down into turn number 1. It's Borey. The 11 car down on the bottom, and Matthew Watts is going to try to make it 3 wide. We are 3 wide for the 3rd down the back straightaway with Watts, Kirby, and Brandon Barnhart. Nice move from Watts, going to take that 3rd spot, but here comes Barnhart back on the outside after leading this race early. Falling back to 12th or 3 wide again for 3rd as Kirby picks up a big push down on the bottom of the racetrack. And he is going to fall back, and here's Watts again, going to try to slide up in front of Barnhart, but can't clear him. And it's still Borey out in front. Borey, Hampton, Barnhart now back to 3rd. Not what Borey wanted to see. He didn't want to see Barnhart come charging back through this field. We'll get our ticker up there for you. Keep turning off on the cautions because it just keeps tweaking out. So Borey now out in front. And it looks like Barnhart's going to find his way to the outside of Hampton. Hampton's fighting back on the bottom. That top groove just a little bit too good off the corner. He gets a good run. Hampton dives back down on the inside, tries to slide up in the middle of the racetrack. Gets a good run through the middle right there, but just not enough. Has to settle back into 3rd, jumps up behind Barnhart. That top cushion is just a little bit too dominant right now. We come off of turn number 2. It's still Borey, Barnhart, and Hampton. 1, 2, 3. Sitting back there in 4th is Matthew Watts. We haven't looked a lot in the back of the field. There's been a lot of stuff going on up front. Hampton looks to the inside of Barnhart. It looks like Borey might be holding Barnhart up just a little bit. Barnhart looks to be a little bit quicker, but just can't find a way around. He's going to tuck up underneath the back bumper, that 56. 21 laps left to go as we cross the stripe. 29 laps down. This 50-lap feature. It's Borey, Barnhart, Matthew Watts, and Tyler Hampton side by side for that 3rd spot. Kirby now works his way up into 6th alongside at 44. Kirby off the racetrack in turn number 4. A little bit of trouble right there. Looks like somebody might be blinking a little bit on us. Pretty hard out there when somebody's blinking. But Barnhart now going to look to the inside of Borey with a big dive into 3. He's going to take a big slide up the racetrack into 4. Here comes Borey back on the bottom. He's going to try to cross him over. He's going to get. I don't think he's got enough of a run to try to slide him in front of Barnhart. Good run there off a 2 out of the middle of the racetrack. Let's see if he can get a dive into 3. Borey back to the bottom. Just not enough momentum to try to slide up in front. It's Borey and Barnhart side by side, 1 and 2 right now. It's Barnhart back to the front. After an early mistake, sent him to the back of the pack. My leaderboards are tweaking one more time here. So I'll have to figure something out with this. So Brandon Barnhart, Ken Borey, Matthew Watts now 1, 2, 3. Tyler Hampton sitting there in 4th. So Brandon Barnhart led this race early, started on the pole, slipped off at top turn number 4 on lap number 2, went all the way back to 12th, has found his way back to the point. Turn off my event logs or something here. Let me see if I can do that real fast here while we're covering this race. So we got a little bit of a view right there. All right, let's see if that fixes it. All right, so there we go. Brandon Barnhart out in front. Ken Borey, Matthew Watts now into 3rd. Got around Tyler Hampton there as we were messing around with our little bit of a glitchy software that's going on. And Watts is going to get by Borey there for 2nd up on the outside. So Borey now struggling just a little bit. Did my screen just freeze? Yeah, it looks like my game froze up. We'll see if we can get back in there real quick. Takes a second to load up. Hopefully we can get back in before the race is over, but it looks like a little bit of glitchy stuff going on there tonight. All right, sorry about that. So trying to bring in this race. Barnhart was out there in front when we left. Borey and Watts going side by side there for 2nd. All right. So we're getting back in there. Hopefully the race isn't over by the time we get in there. All right, looks like we may have made it back in. Brandon Barnhart still out in front. Get my liveries loaded up. Matthew Watts now there in 2nd. Sorry about that technical delay. And getting my liveries loaded up. There we go. So Brandon Barnhart out in front. Matthew Watts now into 2nd. Ken Borey 3rd. We've got about 7 laps left to go, it looks like. Brandon Barnhart came into this race with the point lead. I think he's going to leave with it. Barnhart, Watts, and Borey now your top 3. Hampton back there in 4th. He's got Roundtree. First time we talked about Roundtree in this race, up to 5th in that number 2 car. Getting kind of settled in. We had about 5 or 6 cautions in this race, but it looks like we've settled in here now towards the end. 6 laps left to go. Now 5, Brandon Barnhart still at the point. Up there on the top of the racetrack. Borey now settled back into 3rd. It looks like it's going to be Barnhart's title here with Borey going to come home in 2nd. Watts doing a really good job getting up into 2nd in this race here. Take a look back through the field. We got 4 laps left to go. A little action going on back here between the 2 of Corey Berquist and the 747. Berquist off the top of the racetrack going down the back straightaway. And he's going to slide off a 3 and 4. Is that going to bring out another caution with 3 to go? I don't think so. We're going to stay green. Barnhart now with 3 laps left to go. Borey now looks like he's got his hands full with Tyler Hampton trying to catch up, but nah, he's got a pretty good gap on him right there. With Barnhart now with a 2nd lead. Watts actually closed up some ground on him, but we're on the last lap here. Barnhart's looks like he's going to go, not going to go wire to wire, but he started on the pole. This thing went back to 12th, crawled his way back to the front. And it's going to be Barnhart taking the checker flag. Matthew Watts in 2nd, Ken Borey 3rd. Tyler Hampton going to come across in 4th. Kyron Roundtree in 5th. Chris Watkins 6th. Justin Carey going to come across in 7th. And there's your winner and points championship, Brandon Barnhart in the 34. We didn't get all this set up early enough to do any interviews or anything like that, so we're just gonna see if we do any celebration here. It doesn't look like it. Looks like they're just done. So we'll go back and take a look at that last lap right there. For Barnhart, just had a good lead here. White flag lap here for Barnhart. I don't think I can't go back to lap number 2 because I had to restart the software. I want to go back and see where he went off the racetrack, but good run here from Barnhart. Showed his dominance here at Lernerville. From the front to the back and back to the front. Barnhart going to take the win. Matthew Watts in second. Let's see if we pull up the results. And there's going to be our results one more time. Brandon Barnhart with the win. This is showing Troy in second. Oh, this is qualifying results. That's why, moron. There we go. Let's go to the feature. There we go. Brandon Barnhart with the win. Matthew Watts in second. Ken Bory coming home in third. Tyler Hampton going to be fourth. Kyron Roundtree fifth. Chris Watkins going to come home in sixth. Justin Kirby, after a little bit of an adventure, we saw him on the wall more than one time. Going to finish this race in seventh. Back in eighth, Brian Ordo. Ziggy Troy parentheses going to come home in ninth. Tyson Banks in 10th. Kyle Ollis 11th. And rounding out the 12-car field is going to be Corey Berquist. So thanks for joining us here. Tri-City Speed. We're going to be back tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we're going to be doing an F1 race for some buddies of mine. Run a F1 25 league called the League of Misfits. We're going to jump in there tomorrow night. Me and my buddy Liam Ervig are going to cover that race tomorrow night. And then a week from Tuesday, we're off this Tuesday, but a week from Tuesday, if you like some truck racing, we are going to be doing the Craftsman Truck Series for the Western States Racing League over with my buddies at Sim Racing Media. We're trying to get involved wherever we can. So if you got a dirt league out there, you're looking to get going, we got a couple guys that I've been around dirt track racing for 50 years. And so this is kind of our forte. A little bit rough tonight. My software kind of giving us some glitches there, but I really appreciate you sticking with us. But if you got a dirt league out there, you're looking for some coverage, we got some good teams, good producers, good guys, good commentators can bring you some shows. So just reach out, take a look at Sim Racing Media or send me a message. So one more time, Brandon Barnhart going to come home with the win. So thank you all for joining us. Thanks Tri-City Speed for letting us be here tonight. And we will catch you all next time.